Hey guys, Howard Tager here. How's everybody doing? Welcoming Steve Pacinelli from BombBomb
Ooh.
and Livia this Monteforte, our superstar Ylopo client from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and our realtor in residence, Dr. Barry Jenkins. So part of our 2020 commitment to excellence and commitment to education, we had a great webinar yesterday. Superstar client Mike Bernier, client spotlight, showing off what he's doing well and how he's crushing it with Ylopo. And this is a webinar right here that we've wanted to do for a long time, and we're really excited to do it. It is really sort of trying to educate our community on the BombBomb technology, and probably a lot of folks that are already using BombBomb, but a lot of folks that aren't. So we brought on Steve Pacinelli, who I have known for a really, really long time. We've worked together in the business. I mean, we've really known each other since like 2008. Met right back in Orlando at a Star Power conference, and sort of all kidding aside, Steve is really one of the highest quality people in the business. I would always bring Steve to our success summits because he's just an expert in leading technology, and really became an expert, especially in video. And he always, I think, had a penchant for video and gravitated towards video. And so he eventually found a great home at BombBomb. Now also, Livia, obviously, who's always on stage and always teaching the Ylopo community. I don't think she's ever been on stage talking to our community without mentioning how she uses BombBomb and Ylopo together and apart. And so we thought it would just be perfect to have Livia lead this session along with Steve. Barry's just on for his good looks. No other reason, really not going to add any other value. No, just kidding. Barry will be manning the Q&A. So if you have questions, don't put it in chat, put it in the Q&A, and Barry will be there, and then Barry can interject here with some questions for our superstar panelists. So that's it. I will hand it off to Steve and Livia.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Howard. I'm excited to be here today and talk to you guys about video. Where can I actually see, because this is being broadcasted to Facebook Live here, where can I see the group chat? So when the questions come in, I can actually respond to some of them. Because I do have a few questions for the audience, or maybe Barry, maybe you can just repeat them back. So
sure. Yeah, I can repeat them back. There's two sections really. There's the Zoom Q&A section, which you can see at the bottom of Zoom, but then also there's the in the Ylopo Success community, we're streaming this as a Facebook Live as well. And the only challenge is, I know from experience, when you're trying to watch the Facebook Live and speak at the same time, it's kind of wonky. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you can handle it though, but yeah, I'll be paying attention.
So yeah, I just love to see the feedback and take the conversations where you guys want to go. The first thing, what I would really like to do in this conversation though, is sell you the value of video and not sell you the value of BombBomb. I'm going to sell you the value of video first. And then after you buy into the value of video and why you should be doing it and when you should be using video in your sequences and in your lead response and in your past client follow-up, once you buy into the style of video that Livia and I are going to talk about here, and she's got some great examples that she wants to share, then after you buy into that, then I'll go into why BombBomb, because a lot of the things I'm going to talk about here, you can do it with BombBomb, and BombBomb's going to make it easier and better, and we'll get into all of that. But you can use a lot of these strategies, almost all of them, without it. Might there be some extra steps in the way? Yeah, there might be extra steps. Might you not get the tracking or some other cool things that we do? Absolutely. But I don't want anyone on this webinar here today thinking like, oh my God, I don't have BombBomb. This is going to be useless for me to watch this webinar. Anything you want to add, Olivia?
Steve, you don't have to answer this, by the way, but you're going to get a kick out of the first question out of the gates. I don't know if you can, just as a tech check, you can see in the Zoom screen where it says Q&A.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So does BombBomb work with Lion Desk anymore? First question out of the gate. Anyway, we'll answer that later on. You don't have to answer that now, but we'll get to it.
We do have a lot of integrations, and so we'll get into the integrations talk. So I guess the first place that we should start here is the style of video, and this is what we were just talking about a couple minutes before we started the webinar. Livia, it's the style of video, it's the imperfect video, because so many people grow up on marketing through video. That's what we all grew up on. You know, commercials and everything that was fed to us was high polish, high glitz, high glam, and all the messaging was coming from the mind and not from the heart. And we don't necessarily believe commercials. We don't believe there's a shiny authenticity inversion, and the shinier that something is, a lot of times the less authentic it feels. And you can feel and see this when you go online and you check out social media and you see the quick 15-second videos or 30-second videos that are fun and light and cool. And it's just, those are the types of things that people are attracted to. And BombBomb is the same, it's the same concept. There's marketing through video and there's relationships through video. There is a place for marketing through video. BombBomb itself as a company creates great marketing videos. We place marketing videos on the homepage of our website because you don't want a raw, rough, more organic video on the homepage of your website. You want something with some polish. But when you're communicating one-to-one, and that's what we'll talk about here today, if I'm reaching out to a new lead, if I'm trying to follow up with a past client, if I'm trying to create a better experience or explain a complex topic, these are all opportunities to create that relationship style video, which is your cell phone being held up in front of you, making that eye-to-eye, one-to-one connection. It's the camera on your laptop that you hit the record button, and they get to see a little bit about you and who you are based off of your surroundings, and they get to know more about Barry or know more about Howard or whomever's sending the video out. And that's the first hurdle that when we talk about relationships through video, people always want the videos to be perfect. Do you have anything to add, Livia?
Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of like if you think about, you'll see in Instagram, you have the Instagram versus reality. And I think that Instagram photo, at least at this point in society, we all look at things as almost too perfect. If we see a beautiful meal on Instagram, we know that the lighting was held up and they staged it. But when we see the people posed versus the reality, it kind of takes it and makes it real for us. Mm-hmm. What I try to reiterate to everyone in our office that uses BombBomb is make it be the real version. Because what you're trying to do is you're behind a screen right now. You're trying to get in front of them. And if it's too perfect, it looks canned and it looks like something that you're sending out to everyone. But if you're talking and you might misstep, you might say the wrong word, I have a video that I laughingly shared where my daughter's foot comes up behind me, and that's real life. And that's what makes them go, oh, you're a real person. You're not just a salesperson.
Absolutely. My favorite video is a video that my wife sent out to a real estate agent in Westchester, Pennsylvania. My wife was selling skincare products and she had all the products in her hand. And she didn't want to send videos. And I'm like, honey, it's embarrassing. You got to send videos. You're married to the CMO of BombBomb. And so she's like, fine, I'll send a video. And so she recorded the video. She had all the products in her hand and she's talking about them and trying to like grab them. And she drops them all on the floor and she pops out of the frame and she's picking them up. And I'm like, you keep going. And she pops back into the frame and she's got all the products back. Her face is bright red. And she finished the video and she's like, there's no way I'm sending that video out. I don't want to send it out. And I was like, oh yeah, click. I almost got beat that night. But we sent it out and 15 minutes later, she got a phone call and it was from the RE/MAX agent, Susan in Westchester. And that phone call started with, oh my God, that video was awesome. I am so klutzy. And they talked about how klutzy they were for 15 minutes. And then at the end, she was like, well, I'll just buy all the products because that connection was made. It was the authenticity of that video. So yeah. I love that point.
And in real estate, there's so many realtors trying to sell houses. And so I think you have to remember that you're in real estate because you feel you bring something different to the table. Well, we're getting in front of people with Ylopo well before oftentimes they're even aware they themselves want to buy or sell. They're just in the beginning phases. The first realtor they talk to is who they typically use. how do you become that first realtor? You have to be a real person. If you are just an email and they don't know who you are, you don't become a real person, and they'll go to someone else that gets in front of them.
I love that. And, we always say that it's easier to say no to text on the screen. It's hard to say no to a smiling face. When you humanize yourself, and when someone can see you and hear you, they recognize you as a human being. And there's a super interesting article called "The Epidemic of Facelessness" in the New York Times, and they talk about how people don't recognize one another as humans until they look one another in the eyes. And there's plenty of examples of this, because if you go online, you read an article online, and it's polarizing, and you read the comments underneath, people are just vicious towards one another, and they're mean. And if they were face to face, they wouldn't say the same things. They wouldn't approach it the same way. And that's what that article talks about, not communicating face to face anymore. And so when time or distance and technology keeps you apart from your people that matter the most to your business and in your personal life, that's where video can help bridge that gap. So we're kind of talking about, and I think a good format here, as long as it's good for you guys for this webinar, is kind of talking about the why of video. We might hit another topic or two here. Then I think we should get into the when of video, especially combined with Ylopo and the AI technology that you guys have, and when it's important. And I think you could really help with that, Livia, and going through when it's important to send that personal touch. And so we'll hit the why of video, the when of video, and then we'll get into the actual how, because there's specific strategies that you can use with, not in my office, so I don't know where anything is, with a whiteboard to get attention and to disrupt their pattern, and to get them to give you their attention, because visibility beats ability. Your visibility, someone can have, let me rewind a bit. You might have, if you ever thought to yourself that, why does this person get all of this business? I know I'm better than that person. I know I provide better value. I know I do this. I know I do that better. And you believe it and you know it. The only reason why they might be doing the same business or maybe even better business is because of visibility. Because if you don't have visibility, you never get a chance to showcase your ability. Video, great marketing, and things like that help you attain that visibility. So, any more on the why that you wanted to share, Livia?
So one example of why video, what really shifted my mental perspective with video, was actually with BombBomb. So Jason, who works obviously with BombBomb, he had been sending me BombBomb videos.
Okay.
And it was just, normal videos about, because I'm also a prompt subscriber. So it was what to say, why to say it, when to say it, just kind of that
Right.
approach. So I go to the Next Home conference, and it was in Nashville. And I walk into, or New Orleans, and I walk into the trade show, and I see Jason from across the room, and I go, "Hey, Jason!" And I'm waving at him, and I'm smiling at him, and I see his eyes, hey!
Yeah.
But I figured out really quickly, oh my gosh, I know him from BombBomb. He doesn't know me the way I know him because I'm not using BombBomb.
Right.
So I beeline up and I said, okay, I need to get BombBomb, because I'll tell you right now, the fact that I just had the reality check that I know you, but you didn't know me because I've never responded by video, is enough to tell me why I need to use this for my clients. And he just laughed. And I said, how often does this happen? He said, all the time.
All the time.
And yet as realtors, we don't understand what that actually means for our business.
I think, Livia, one of the things that our clients, especially our newer clients, struggle with is they just get overwhelmed, right, with Ylopo. And, you and I know that your Ylopo experience was broken until you really committed to it and created a system and a process.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing, that if we bring it up to a higher level at first, which is so that our attendees specifically know when you use video, not the kind of the hows, which are really important about like the video content, right, and all that, we're going to get to that, but the when you use video in your process, the how often you use video, but like specifically, like, is it a vid mail? Is it a, like, what is it exactly, and when and how often? Let's start there. Then let's get into all the other important things once you know where it fits in your follow-up process.
Okay, so I'll state for anyone that wants to start trying to use BombBomb or video, we'll just say video. Anyone that wants to start trying to use video and figure out how to incorporate it, as Howard just brought out, you do need to have systems because you need to have something you can replicate. The very first step I took was sending it out to the newly registered people that came to me through Ylopo. So if someone has registered, you want to face-to-face greet them. I found that the emails weren't always getting opened. We use a FirePoint CRM, but it works with Follow Up Boss too. I haven't checked recently with FirePoint, it's 1 click. With Follow Up Boss, I think it might be 2 clicks. But you can do it one of 2 ways. If it is to make it easier for people, you can set up a BombBomb video of yourself greeting them to the site. So, hi, thank you so much for registering on our site. I'm really excited to be able to work with you. My name is Livia. I'm a full-time broker here on the Cape. I'm boots on the ground. I wanted to let you know it's a great time to look. And if there's anything specific you're looking for, please just text me back. And it's just kind of a quick 30-second or less, this is my face and I'm looking at you. Make sure if you do that, and it's going to be one that you send out to multiple people, have it be in a room like this where there's no windows. You don't want to have nighttime out the windows and it's actually 10 o'clock when you're sending it. Don't let the seasons come into play. Don't be outside, and don't have a clock or a calendar behind you.
Wow, brilliant.
Those are the 2 big things. So I would start with that. Then
that one video you can leverage.
Just one video, just your intro video. It is your way to get in front of people as a person. The second video that I highly recommend is for people that keep coming up as priority leads in the system. And I know Steve's going to get into this with the whiteboard. That should be a person-to-person video. So that video should be to them by name. I will always say their name in the video. I'm gonna incorporate the whiteboard though, because I know when Kale did it to me, it immediately makes you open when you see your name on screen.
So that video, you know, if you don't have a kid, you got to rent a kid, get the foot up in the
get a dog,
and drop the cosmetics at the same time, and that's the personal.
Do it all if you can, but that video really should be person to person. And then the last video that I recommend is right before you are scheduled. If you've talked to them about a specific property or a specific search criteria, you should always be following up with a video to them, because if they've given you something specific that's personal, you want to acknowledge that, and you want to acknowledge it face to face.
How long is the personal video? Any other tips you can give?
I try to keep them under 30 seconds, which is tough for me. So my minimum is a minute. I mean, my maximum is a minute. And at a minute, I feel like I've really tied up their life. I try to do 30 seconds, and sometimes it'll be, hey, thank you so much for what you just shared with me. I've refined the search to reflect that. I'm going to send you a quick text. That's all I'm saying, but it's, again, making me be a real person and not an automated person behind a screen.
Yeah, and so on a BombBomb email, we put the time. As soon as you record the video, it encodes, it uploads, it lays an overlay with the time. People, you need to set an expectation on how much time it will take, and that's a great point. 1 minute or less, it displays the seconds. 1 minute or more, it says 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We did that to encourage people to keep it under 1 minute, because we know that's the longer the relationship you have with someone, the longer the video can be. But in a scenario that you just described, Livia, you'd want that one to be short. 30 seconds is great, exactly like you said. And as soon as we added that timestamp as well as the animated preview, so when that email goes out, the video it looks like it's already playing. It plays that video ahead of time, so you can have motion and animation, and you know, I can hold up a little whiteboard and have a quick question, Livia, on there, and they can kind of see that animation and know that it's personal. We got a 49% increase in video play rate just by adding the timestamp and the animation to the video, which is custom.
Livia, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a preview as well.
In the GIF, do you find, well, I forgot what he called it, the animation video. I always called it a GIF.
Animated preview.
Yeah.
GIF.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you wave when you're starting it or do you hold the whiteboard when you're doing the Y priority alert? Like, are there any tips there as far as body language?
So I should be. The short answer is not yet, but let me tell you, I should be. I actually someone brought up, one of my agents said, you know what everyone's favorite word in the English language is, or any language, their own name. And so when I heard that, I stopped and went, why am I not using it in my BombBombs? I should be holding it up with their name because it worked with me. I get so many emails every single day that I am the queen of later, 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 delete, 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 delete. And when I saw my name in the animated preview, I was like, what? And immediately had to watch it. So the short answer, yeah, do the name. If you're going to do anything, the wave, I have done that in some. Usually I try to look right at the camera as I'm saying it. And I think it intrigues them enough, but I would say no matter what, even if you don't like yourself on camera, hide behind the whiteboard with their name. It will help.
So two things there. What you just described, Livia, was a pattern disrupt because we're conditioned as human beings to scan through our email. We immediately identify all the marketing pieces. We push that aside to later, 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 or it might be that special coupon code to your favorite store that but you're busy now, so you look at that later. So all the marketing pieces get pushed aside and you look for real connection and real conversations. And by having that animated preview or GIF or GIF or whatever you like to call it in the beginning with the name, that was a pattern disrupt for you for your day. That's what stood out. That's what caused you to pause, because we make 35,000 decisions a day as human beings. 35,000 decisions every day. And if you don't believe me, you can Google it. It's on the first page, which you know it's true. But just think about your actions. Barry there just put his hand on his shoulder. He just blinked. He just looked to the right. Those are all actions. There you go. But now you're looking good, Barry. Those are all the actions that are controlled by our brain. Those are all decisions. But you're thinking, well, wait, I don't feel like I make 35,000 decisions a day, because most of the decisions are made for you by the primitive part of your brain, by the autonomous part of your brain. And the autonomous part of your brain is what helps you check your email, surprisingly, because you get into a habit, you get into heuristics, and you read through and you scan, and your brain knows what to do, and you don't have to consciously make these decisions. It just recognizes these opportunities, and it stood out. So that was a really long explanation. We should probably do a shorter one next time. But that's a pattern disrupt.
It does. It disrupts your pattern. And it made Kale real to me within seconds. All of a sudden, it was someone that knew me and wanted my attention, and I felt deserved my attention in that moment because it shocked me.
Vivian, my question is, how often or what percentage of the time do you end your video with a question?
Usually the way I end it is saying, I'm going to follow up with you, or I've sent you a text with a question, a text will follow, or I send you an email if you could take a second and just get back to me. I try to leave it with an actionable item, but a very, very easy to do actionable item, because I want them to engage with me. A question actually might be a really good approach though, Howard, because then they feel obligated to respond.
Steve, any comments on, I mean, I like, look, if you're best of both worlds, if you do that, but then you also follow up with a text question, then I think that's sort of the best of both worlds. Steve, any input on that?
Yeah, well, two things. Yes, we do recommend questions in the video. What's your CTA? You either have a very clear and direct CTA of what you want them to do, or that could be a question for how you would like them to respond, of course. But the combination of text and email and phone, these are all tools, right, that should be used in conjunction with one another, and can be used with one another easily. Just to go back to one last point before we totally move on from that topic, I think, Barry, you asked about waving and hands, and do you wave? It's super interesting. They analyzed all the TED Talks, and the TED Talks that had and I'm going to try to remember these stats, don't quote me exactly, but the ones that had like 440 gestures as opposed to the ones that had 220 gestures were all ranked higher and more effective. The speakers were ranked better. And the reason why is hands and hands up. This is another thing that's built into our DNA, our genetics, our humanity. Over the thousands of years of evolution, when we see someone's hands, it's a friendly gesture because it means they don't have anything behind their back. If someone walks up to you with their hands behind their back, it's like, well, what's going on? I don't trust this person. And all that 35,000 decisions that go on in your brain that you're not aware of, all these red flags are happening. And so we teach people in the beginning, especially if you're responding to your Ylopo leads, hold up the whiteboard, put up a hand. Hey, I'm unarmed. You speak to that primitive side of the brain. Pattern disrupt. I'm a friendly person that you're going to love working with.
It could be like, welcome, Livia. You're on the best home search site.
Yes.
You're here.
I am here to help you.
Well, I will say what I found, and this was obviously subconscious, but as a person, I gesture a lot. It's just what I do. It's how I talk.
Yeah.
In my BombBombs, the first ones I'd talk like this. And I was just very, looking at the camera, making sure I focus. And then I start saying, I just saw something. I sent you something. You're going to see down here. If you could get back to me. Just those little bits, because it made me feel less robotic, that I just kind of said, loosen up and do it. And I find that those tend to get faster responses than when I was just staring into the camera.
Yeah.
One thing also I'm thinking about is in the use of the name, right? So we're using our hands, but in the use of the name, I would use it once. Like I would welcome Steve, great. But I wouldn't keep saying Steve, because if you keep saying Steve, now it becomes salesy. So Steve, and when people, like, I totally get it. Like, it's personalized, use my name at first, but if you keep using it, it's too much.
Yeah, you want to communicate like you would. So here's the best way to think about it. In these videos, when you're trying to build trust and rapport, which is a great opportunity to use video. If you're trying to build trust or rapport, if you're managing emotion, you're trying to explain complex topics, which we can get into that in a minute. All great opportunities for BombBomb. You want to do the same things that you would do if you were in real life face-to-face. So you don't want your pitch voice out. A lot of people, when they sit down and they do their listing presentations sometimes, or if you happen to speak on stage at a real estate event or something like that, or you hop on a webinar like this one, you get out there and you do your pitch voice. My name is Steve Passanelli, and I'm here to tell you, it was a horrible pitch voice, whatever. But you don't want to do that. You want to talk in a normal.
Sorry, you guys, my messages keep dinging.
Yeah, that's all right. You want to talk in a normal tone of voice. If you would use a name, use a name. If you wouldn't, use a name 3 times, then don't. If you stutter, if you make a mistake, if you say as long as you don't mess up the person's name, that's pretty much my only rule of thumb. If you say, hey, Mark, and it's Mary, that's bad.
Doesn't go over well.
Besides that, be who you are, be genuine.
Let's clear some questions really quickly, because I love the engagement now. We're getting a lot of questions.
Okay.
So audience, let's clear some of them quickly, if that's okay. What wording should we put in the subject line to get them to open the email?
That depends on the email. Yeah, there is a study. We actually conduct our own study that if you put the word video in the subject line, it does increase open rates, but it depends on the situation. If you're responding to a lead, if you are trying to awaken a cold lead, if you are following up with a past client.
Yeah, the follow-up question was, what are the subjects of your emails to get them to even open it up, to see the BombBomb, add their name to the subject was a question.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Personalization always works. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and I found making the subject line really ugly and long, that's obviously doesn't, like, people don't normally automate a really long, when agents send you a note, and instead of writing in the body of the email, they say, John, how are you? Can you call me tomorrow? And it actually works, at least in my market.
That sounds awesome. I can see why that would work. I never thought about doing that, Barry. That's a great tip.
What have you guys learned about those open rates and using the name in the subject line?
The name I found, well, it's not something I don't know the stats, but the name does help a lot if I include the name, as long as it doesn't look too spammy, because sometimes they'll send me emails and you can tell they just put my first and last name. I try, if I have the first name, to just use that. And I have been trying Barry's suggestion where I make the subject line almost like the body of the email, because that tends to make, like Barry said, it doesn't feel as generic, it doesn't feel automated, and it's been getting a response.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and I see someone said 465. That's the amount of hand movements. Thank you. I can't see the person's name that wrote that, but thank you. General, there's a couple other here. So record general video and BombBomb and have it sent out automatically to when a lead registers on a website. Yeah, we do have an integration with Follow Up Boss as well. So you can set up, I think, and we have over 60 integrations, so I don't know each one intimately, but Follow Up Boss is one of our better integrations. So I think that functionality is present.
And Levy, are you sending the videos? The question is, are you sending the videos by email or text?
I send them by text. I find that it's got a better open response rate. So in our market, a lot of what I found out, and Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I had worked with BombBomb on this. I was trying to make it short and sweet. So I was just making the subject line and then I was sending just a video because I didn't have any text in the body. It was not being opened. So if you're going to do an email with a video, make sure you have just a few lines and don't try to make it be personal. If you're doing it as an auto campaign in Firepoint, we can auto campaign a video text. I don't know in Follow Up Boss, we had it as an auto campaign, but it was through email. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, the text is an important part of the equation. The text should drive the video view. As Livia was mentioning in the beginning, especially with new leads, it's your goal to get face-to-face. And one of the questions I always ask audiences when I'm in front of them is, if you were in front of more people more often, would you do more business? And I'm talking about in front live or in front digitally. And the answer is always yes. And so every time you choose not to send a video, you were saying no to a face-to-face meeting. And if you flip your mindset and think about it that way, would I convey this message better or more effectively if I was face-to-face? And if the answer is yes, then you want to send a video. And then the supporting text underneath that, if you know that this message is better face-to-face and you decided to send that video, then step 2 is, how do I get that video played? What are some of the techniques and strategies? And one of the strategies is just simply telling them to play the video. It can be as simple as that. Hey, I recorded a personal video for you above, click play. Some of the other strategies that you can use there, one that I use a lot, if there's 3 points I want to make in the email, I'll put 2 points in the body and then say for the 3rd point, watch the video above. That way I got that face-to-face time. I'm building that rapport. I'm building that trust. And people love bullets too. And so if you put it in the text, say, hey, 3 things that maybe someone filled out a form on your website and you respond, and in the text you say, hey, 3 things I want to go over in the video above. When the video starts, say, hey, 3 things. The first thing is, and you go really fast through the first one. People have a hard time not completing things. And that's why you see the 7 ways that you can lose 10 pounds in 1 week, and like all the what do they call clickbait posts out there. You can use that same type of strategy, not quite as cheesy, in your videos by giving them 3 things, or by typing 2 of those things in the text underneath and then not telling them what the 3rd one is. And in the video say, hey, glad you played this video. I just want to personally introduce myself. My name is Steve Passanelli. I'm from XYZ Realty. As I mentioned, the 2 things below, but the 3rd thing, and the most important thing, is that way you keep your video under a minute because you're only going over the 3rd thing. You got the face-to-face time. Couple other just quick tips here for getting that attention. We went over the whiteboard. Always write the name on the whiteboard, but just don't write their name. Write something else with it. Quick question, Livia. Or have you ever done this, Livia? Or do you have, pose a question on the whiteboard, engage them a bit more. Or if you really want to go pro level here, there's a lot of things that you could do with a screen recorder. BombBomb has a screen recorder built in. It's great for conveying complex topics or going over a document, walking someone through your website, showing them how to set up alerts on Ylopo, whatever you want to do. You can
Loom video functionality built into BombBomb.
Yeah, it's built in. So you have your one-to-one video, you have your screen recording, but they can see you at the same time. But use that as your way to gain attention as well. Put something interesting up on the screen. We teach these strategies to a lot of outbound BDRs outside of the real estate industry, where they're reaching out to VPs and CMOs, et cetera. And we teach them to go to someone's LinkedIn profile page, send them a video. So when the person gets the video, they see their own LinkedIn profile page on the screen. They know it's personalized. I don't recommend doing that for real estate because it's a slightly different. It might be weird if you bring up someone's Facebook profile on the screen and be like, I see you have kids. They'll be like, I'm not working with this person.
I have a question.
Yeah. Who are effectively using BombBomb for agent recruiting. So versus using BombBomb for buyers and sellers, but using it for agent recruiting.
That's a prime example. Bring an agent's website up on your screen. They'll see your face. They'll see their own website. There's a 0% chance when they open that video, they're not going to want to see what you have to say. And you just got a face-to-face meeting.
Wow. No, that's good. I'm just curious. I'm honestly, I was really excited. I got to just hang out and listen to you guys. Livia, this is a question for you and Steve, I guess. So something I've been thinking about it, I'm getting ready to redo my team's BombBomb videos because we used to be really heavy on Zillow and Realtor.com, and we've come off the addiction of those, and we've moved to more opportunities that are a little bit higher up in the funnel. And in my market, I feel like many of the people don't know what they want yet, and so they don't think they need an agent. And so if I do the typical, hey, my name's Barry, we're excited to be working with you, and they don't think they need me, I'm almost wondering if I should try like an informational, like I know you're looking in Virginia Beach, here's like 3 things I think that are important. Do you guys have an opinion about that? Because I know it depends on the market. Some markets you need to go with personality, others you need to go with other stuff. And I didn't know if either of you could speak to that.
Yeah, so it's funny you brought that up because that's something that our office is working on right now. So what we decided, because we're in a similar situation where we're up the funnel, but we're also a second home market. So in addition to being a great realtor on the Cape that you want to use, we also want to be the realtors that can prepare them for what they're about to encounter with the marketplace. So we talked to our agents and we made a 6-part series that we're working on right now. The challenge is condensing it in time, because what we want to let them know is, number one, how does agency work in Massachusetts? When you come, the first, and I use this all the time, so I'm going to quickly segue. It's amazing if you have an agency disclosure form that's mandatory with your state that you get signed, and it's something that agents have a hard time presenting at the first face-to-face. Here in Mass, it's first face-to-face, you have to present this form, and you're asking someone to sign what looks like a contract. So one of my favorite BombBombs is, I'm so excited that we're going to be meeting up later today. Before we do, I wanted to just quickly show you the agency disclosure. It looks like this. I'm going to be bringing it with me when we meet. It's mandatory in Mass, consumer protection. It is not a contract with me. I don't like to sign buyer agency contracts until I've met you and know we'd be a good team working together. That's something we'll talk about later. I'm getting off topic. So what I want to let you know is I'm going to be bringing the form. The form is going to be attached in an email. You can e-sign if you want, or you can sign face-to-face. And I quickly send that. I remind them about the appointment. I'm done. 2 things I've just done. 1, I've made them want me to want them to be a buyer client. And 2, I prepared them for the hard convo. So when I get face-to-face, almost every time they go, hey, do you have that form you need me to sign? Sure do. Here it is. Sign right here. Let's move on. The other thing that it does is with, and I don't know, again, it's significant to it's specific to our market, but we almost always meet a listing agent here in this market still. And there's nothing more awkward than the first face-to-face with someone you've communicated with online and they don't know what you look like. So BombBomb them. So when they walk up to the house and meet the other agent, they don't go, hi, Livia. No, not Livia. You're a little early, but let me show you the house. Then they become the first agent that they've seen face-to-face. So when I BombBomb them, I say, I'll be there a little early, but if for any reason you get there ahead of me, just feel free to wait until I get there. The second they see me, they're waving, they can't wait to get out of the car. I've established that relationship.
You reduced anxiety at the same, because everyone has anxiety before the first meeting, another opportune time to, that was a great example.
Yeah,
So,
it works
Levy,
really well.
Yeah, you're slick, Levy. I got to watch out for you.
Levy, you have a lot of intelligence about, especially you have a lot of out-of-towners, and you're gathering a lot of intelligence on those out-of-towners where they're searching.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what Steve was saying, where they have this kind of Loom video integration now. You could literally do an instructional video with a map, and you could annotate the map. You already know where they're searching, and you could literally circle and say, I'm going to teach you about the area a little bit, but I'm a particular expert in this area. You could just magically have circled the area that you already know they're searching
for.
And I've got a lot of connections in this area. I'm the expert in this area, and I know, you know, whatever it is. But there's some things I'm thinking you could do, you know, annotating over a map, showing the people who are coming from out of town, you know more of the ins and outs about the area, school district, proximity, walk to downtown Falmouth, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And prove your
knowledge, your expertise.
Yeah.
And it's also, like Steve brought out, you're reducing anxiety, because one of the big things that I find, especially like if you're coming from Cali and you want to buy in Massachusetts, we're two totally different beasts. Like the market just has different do's and don'ts, and we go through different steps. So if you outline it, but do it by video and try to keep it short enough. And I'll often say, listen, I'm going to keep this short, but if you want more info, I'm here to explain it. Let them know. In Mass, we do the agency disclosure right when we meet. If you want to put in an offer, this is what usually we consider as a deposit with the offer. We then go to purchase and sale. What does that mean? Who is a buyer's agent? Who is a seller's agent? My favorite one is what to do at an open house. And it's really easy to say, listen, I'm going to start sending you regular lists of open houses, but I don't want you to feel like you're getting caught in that tornado of every agent you meet trying to suck you in. So let me give you the protocol of what you can do. Write down my name and number and say we're already working together. They won't bother you. You're essentially securing your position with the client as their agent, but you're also giving them the freedom to feel like that you're not clinging to them or so desperate for the sale.
Yeah, Howard, you know, you were talking about the, you know, pre-circled ahead of time screen recording. I want to expand upon that in a different way, because of course we're talking a lot about, you know, lead conversion here. This strategy, and it reminded me of this strategy it's one of the best strategies that I've heard in my 20 years of being in real estate. And it actually has real results. So Jimmy Burgess, real estate agent, he made it a point to send one video every day, business days, for 90 days. And he generated in this one video, and I'll teach you exactly what he did, $11 million in new listings from sending one video a day for 90 days. And here's what he did.
That's a quick question. So this was like, okay, was it one general video that he sent to his entire sphere?
No. So he took his sphere of influence.
Yeah.
He chose one person every day.
Got it. So he wasn't getting the same person for 90 days in a row.
Right.
But
and what he did,
someone else.
Right. So he used the screen recording, like you were saying, and this is what prompted this.
Yeah.
He went on to Google Earth, and he started the screen recording on Google Earth with an aerial view of that person's home.
Ooh.
And then he had one other tab open, which was his MLS tab. You could use whatever service you would like, and had the latest listings around that neighborhood. These were unsolicited. These people did not request it. He used it as a follow-up. And so it took about 10 minutes, you know, especially in the beginning, to get prepared for each one of these. 10 minutes of work each day. And he sent out a video, and that pattern disrupt was seeing their house on an aerial view on a Google map in the screen recording that he sent out of BombBomb. Then he went in and said, hey, I just like to provide this service, you know, free of charge for all my customers. I know you're not probably ready to move today, but I just want to let you know what's selling in your neighborhood. And then he would click over and then just go through some of the recent sales. And he would make these videos short. They would be less than 2 minutes, a little bit longer than normal, but it was so specific to the recipient that it was okay to go longer. So very specific. So he would send that out. And after the 90-day period, he generated $11 million. This was 2 years ago. And I've been teaching this strategy to agents ever since, because it is so simple. You do it with the people that you already have. And it's an awesome way. People always worry, what am I going to do to get in touch? Am I just reaching out and saying, do you or do you know anybody who's ready to buy or sell a home? Like, this is a fantastic strategy. Build trust and rapport, remind them why they liked you. And it's just a great approach.
So I have a question and a suggestion too. This is gold, man. This is awesome. So very specifically, so he's sending this out through email, not text, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it's going out through email, and then in terms of the pattern disrupt, they see initially in the email. I'm just not that educated when it comes to BombBomb, right? But if they see the picture of their home, they literally see that picture and then click on it.
They see, yeah. So what will happen here? I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
And let's go to screen.
But Lydia, I just had a crazy idea, which I'd love for you to experiment, riffing off of this. So guys, everybody write this down. Like, we're going to do this, and we're going to be thoughtful, Barry. Let's be thoughtful about how we do this with our new HomeBot integration, which is coming very, very soon. Because with our HomeBot integration, and Steve, you know our friend Ernie Graham, right?
I do, and we have a great HomeBot integration too. So it all works together.
So let's get on a call, you know, you, me, G, like Ernie, right, whatever. But we're going to be generating like a lot of, you know, listing seller introductions with our HomeBot integration. And then boom, we followed up with the video, starting off with the picture of their home. This, guys, you see, everyone write this down, right? So it's Ylopo, HomeBot, BombBomb, all working in concert to get you more listings. Yeah. Okay, make sure we write that down. Number two, what about on the buyer side? So Livia, you're in a market, right, where you're getting a lot of people that want to potentially buy a vacation home or second home in Cape Cod. Obviously, we're not just generating seller leads, we're generating a ton of buyer leads. Well, we know, for example, you know, Chad Smith, right, from Boston, who wants to buy that second home in Cape Cod, we know that he's looked at this one home the most times. We know that he's looked at this one home in Chatham 7 times. Why don't we start the video you send with the picture of the home he's looked at the most? Boom. Now, Steve, we've taken that seller strategy that crushed it, and we're times 10ing it with the buyers, because we have all the intel on what neighborhoods they're looking at, what homes they're looking at the most, and we can start with that home that we know. We're already doing this with dynamic remarketing, right? We're leading with the homes we already know they're interested in. Let's do it with the videos.
We should really do like a challenge, a 90-day challenge, see who will do it with us, where we try to do 1 buyer, 1 seller per day. I mean, 1 video per day takes you no time at all. And you do this, and let's see what happens. It'll be so much fun to try to turn this into, you're getting in front of them, you're getting the info, and you'll set appointments.
Yeah, and it's clearly, obviously, when you see your own home, I understand, see, like, there's, you know, there's companies that send the postcards with their own home, and, you know, like, I've, you know, heard the strategy before. I love doing it with the video, but I think we can do this with buyers too, knowing already what is the home that they keep going back to. They can't take their eyes off this one home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different ways, and here's exactly, you know, what you would do. I would just go into my BombBomb. I use Gmail, so, you know, the record screen's built right into Gmail, or be, you know, whatever system that you choose, FollowBoss, etc., or Outlook, and you would just hit the record screen button, and it would load up the screen recorder here, and I have it recording my other screen. So let me just flip that. There we go.
Shereen Miller, who says she's always up for a good challenge. So she's digging the challenge, Livia.
Yeah, so I would just hit, well, I would go to Google Earth here for pretend that's a house, and I would just hit start recording. And I would look up and I'd wave and I would do my recording, and I would make sure that this is moving around. You can have it like zoom in while it's doing it. And so pretend I'm done here, and it turned on my other camera. But when I hit the save button, it will take this video. It'll take, you guys should be able to, you can see my screen, right? I just assumed that you could. Okay. So it'll take that video, and then if it was zooming in, and so what he has the Google Earth like zoom in when it records, and this would be an animated preview, would be playing while that is zooming in, and I should have moved my little video thing so it was up here. You can move it around. But it just pops that video right into your email. You're ready to send it, and you get the tracking and analytics, and so you know when the person watched it. You know exactly how long they watched it for. And so you'll get an email back now. This is a newer feature in BombBomb, which you turn on in your BombBomb settings, where it will send you an email and it will say they watched 87% of your video, and you'll get that email when they watched 87% of your video, or 30% or 12%. Livia, did you turn that on yet?
I did. And you know what I love is when you see them sharing it,
Yeah.
because it keeps, or they keep rewatching it. Like if there's content that I think is very important, and I use it a lot too, and I kind of do this generically, but I'm going to share this real quick. If I go through a house and I think it's great, but I know my clients don't like it, I'll say to them, I know this isn't for you, but do you mind if I record a quick video for someone else? It will take 2 seconds. It does kind of drum the anxiety. Maybe it's for me under the clients, but you know, they don't know. So you do a quick video, you hold up your phone, you're like, okay, hey, I'm with some folks right now, but I want to send a quick video because I just saw this house. It's amazing. I feel like it is the perfect house for you. It fits all your criteria. I'm going to shoot it to you right now. I'll get back to you. You send them that, and you send them a link to the property through our search site. You can see how often they watch it. And let me tell you, people watch it like mad. Then the other thing you can do, if you don't include their name and you just do that, if you have about 10 people watching that are looking for the same thing, send the video to all 10. Just say, hey, I'm here and I thought of you. It is so personal when you're like with them and you're quickly showing it. They don't need to know that you're saying that same video to 10 different people in your database.
Awesome. Such a good idea.
Great stuff.
It gets the fire under people. They get excited.
Yeah, and I know oh, go ahead, Barry.
I was just going to say that I find my best BombBomb videos are done in my car, and I always apologize at the beginning for being in my car. And it seems to, I don't know, because it has that authentic, unscripted, I don't know why. I just always have. Like I'll literally leave my office and go sit in my car and do a couple BombBomb videos. I know it's ridiculous, but
what is the whole car thing? Is I always remember back in the day, like Jay Kinder and Mike Reese. They were always in the car, and then it was like Ben Kinney was always in the car. Like everybody was always in the car. Well, what's the rationale behind that in the car?
So one, and I have plenty of stories like this. One, the lighting, because it's diffused lighting and the sun's shining on the roof of your car and you get this diffused 4-way lighting, it makes you look better. Two, the audio is better because sorry, Barry, the audio is better because it's enclosed. And three, and I don't know how far this has gotten around, but we teach a strategy, because you were talking about process in the beginning, Howard. Process and strategy in how you're following up with these leads. There's a car process that is, if you have 10 or more minutes while you're waiting for someone, we teach people to jot down the 20 most popular questions that they get as a real estate agent, put it in their car, keep the paper in their car, the 20 most popular questions, and if they're waiting 5 or 10 minutes or more, that's the trigger. That's the process. Do I have 5 or 10 minutes? If I do have 5 or 10 minutes as I'm waiting for this client, as I'm sitting in front of the house, I will record a video response to that question. And then you build up in your spare time where you would have been scrolling Facebook while waiting for that client, in your car, you build up 20 videos that you're going to be asked again and again and again, and you keep them in your BombBomb library to easily text, to easily email. And now you have a face-to-face video, like Livia was mentioning in the beginning, that's pre-recorded, that's evergreen, and you build it in your spare time. And so that's why a lot of other people—
You mentioned one variable, because I always assumed, and I had no scientific basis for it, that it had something to do with the motion. So I was not seeing people who are sitting in their car. It was always like the car was always moving, and they were someone there, right? There was always motion. Right? It's like comedians in cars getting coffee, right? They're talking, it's moving, and it's who's the other late night talk show host who does that? Like it's something about the movement, right? We're going somewhere. There's I don't know, but it would be very interesting to do some more research on.
Our most played videos at trade shows are when we're on an escalator. When we recorded on an escalator.
Really?
Interesting.
Well, no, Howard, Steve put it really plainly. It's because we think we look better when we're in the car. So I walked right into that.
Hey, I do want to mention, because I know we're running short on time, and I said I wasn't trying not to sell you BombBomb, but the value of video. But we have a new low-cost BombBomb solution as well. We have 3 different solutions at BombBomb. We have the prompt program, which Livia has, which is the white glove, the hand holding. We create content for you. Then we have the BombBomb platform, which people are usually familiar with. Allows you to send one-to-one videos, but it's also a mass email system and automations and things like that. You can craft mass emails with it. But then some people said, you know, I just want to send one-to-one videos. I want to do screen recordings. I want to follow up my leads. And so we have a Gmail product that's just one-to-one video sending. It's brand new. It's at bombbomb.com/video. And it's $29.99 a month. And you get a 14-day free trial of that too. So if you're thinking about using this strategy, try it out for 14 days. There's no credit card. You don't have to pay the $588 for the main program or the $1,500 for the prompt program. And you can start small and then see if you want to move up to the marketing platform, move up to the prompt system, which is going to create great content for you. But it's a much more nicer entry-level product. So just want to make sure everyone knew.
Yeah, and I want to mention that, again, next Thursday, everybody write this down, next Thursday at 10 a.m. And Steve, we'd like to, you'll be the only sort of non-Ylopo client invited to this webinar. I know you're a busy guy, but next Thursday, we are doing the official release only to our community, not the wide release yet, to the greater real estate community, for Diva. Dynamic video ads. Okay, it is the only place in the industry where you'll be able to get Diva, let alone any other industry. We just have not seen this before. And I really, Barry, I want to be thoughtful about, right, is there an intersection between Diva, and BombBomb?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, because one of the features of Diva that I'm personally very excited about, because I have a 70,000 person database. We have a series of branding videos that you can either customize or we can just automate for you. And these videos right now are working their way through my 70,000 person database. And every time a person sees the video, that video doesn't play to them ever again. And so what's incredible is the videos are about 15 seconds long, and the view rate of the entire 15 seconds is crazy high. And it's because they know who I am already, but now they're getting all these different, there's content, there's teaching, there's humor, and it's just working its way through. And I think, candidly, the missing piece is the agent themselves also adding some personalized video to what we're already doing automatically for them. It's the engagement right now, I think it's like a penny per person is right now what I'm working on. So it's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw the Diva product before I came on here. It looks pretty great. And what's I asked Kiwi if you could download the videos, which means you can upload those videos into BombBomb too. And you can have them available to send at any time, right from your mobile device, from your laptop, desktop, Gmail account, right from Gmail. You can send those out.
Right. Look, this is all about staying top of mind to your sphere 24/7, 7 days a week, right? This is it. It's top of mind because we just know that consumers, it's instant gratification. And when they want to go see a home, they want to go see a home. And hey, no offense to you, but they'll go see a home with a bunch of other realtors, right? But if you're top of mind all the time, and we're hitting it from all the angles, right? BombBomb, Diva, dynamic remarketing, you are now have come up with a path to effectively compete with companies like Zillow and HomeLight and all these guys who are spending, $500 million a year on sales and marketing. They can do this nationwide, but you can actually beat them in your local market through these strategies. So we're just really just putting it, all together for you guys.
It's a way to be the person they want to represent them. And they're not going to be able to want you if they don't know you. So just like we're trying to get to know them as people in our database, it's a way to let them get to know you also.
Yeah, it's, I noticed that even during today's webinar, Livia, you really never used the word lead. You always said the person, which I know it's been a shift, for you, but it's been such a successful shift. And now it's kind of a two-way street. You taught us at our summit, do you know the person? If you don't know the person and what their needs are and what their aspirations are and what their family's like, if you don't know them yet, then you're not anywhere on the path to working with them. But now we're talking about them knowing you. So there's this cool two-way street, right? And the more they know you and like you, the more they're going to work with you. So we're now time for parting shots. Dr. Barry, I don't have to put you on the spot. I'm going to start with you. Any parting shots here from our realtor in residence?
Be specific in general at the same time. Livia touched on this, but some of my best BombBomb videos are ones that I'm specific to how they found me, like so maybe a website or a lead source. I'm specific to the time the video is sent, so morning before 12. And so now videos that I did 3 years ago are still crushing it because leads from XYZ source, and I'm sending the lead in the video the next day in the morning, and it's all automated. And so you're specific on what you can automate, like time of day or lead source, and just make it personable, you know, wave and what have you. That was probably my big thing that I feel pretty strong about.
Cool. We're going to go me, then we're going to go Livia, then we're going to have Steve's got the final parting shot. My parting shot is this has been an awesome webinar. Better than I even expected it. I had so much fun. I learned so much from Steve and from Livia. I just thought it was killer. And we're going to make sure that everybody sees this recording. We got Frank the Tank who said, this webinar has been great. Love my Ylopo and love my BombBomb. I'm actually going to make a quick little offer right now. So if there's a few people that want to go onto our Ylopo success community and literally said this was a killer webinar, if you loved it, and that everybody else was just lost out, you know, if they weren't on it and they really need to get to the recording, we will send you a super comfy Ylopo t-shirt, comfiest t-shirt in the world. So that is an offer that expires in 1 hour. That's my parting shot, which is also thank you so much to Steve and Livia. This was just so much fun, and it just means the world to me and to our community. Livia?
I'm going to say just do it. Just try it. Take up that 14-day offer that he put out there. I know video works. It absolutely works. That's why Instagram's using it and Facebook's using it. You want to do video. But if you want kind of the easiest approach to get into it, use BombBomb. It's the only way to really simplify it so you can focus on other things. But my real true little bit, when you don't want a video and you feel like I'll do it later, pick up the phone and just do it. Whether or not your hair is right or you look right, do it, because that's going to be the one that will get a response and you're going to be blown away.
That was great. I think I'll take that lead and say, you are your best asset. You, not any of this tech, not BombBomb, it's you. You are your best sales asset. And if you were in front of more people more often, you would do more business, and video can help get you there.
For sure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Fun. See ya. We'll do it again, right, Steve?
Yes, let's do it.
I sense a client success spotlight coming up with you, Livia, really soon.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.